Hello. Hi there. Hello, everyone. Yes. Welcome. My name is Chris Farrow. Welcome to my channel where today I will be talking to you about what 90 Day Fiance. This is season 7. It's the tell all part 3. A four, not done. 75% done with the tell all. It's 75% done. It's been 69%. I wish I picked a different number. Liz and Ed. It's been so much Liz and Ed that when I recorded the Docu-Sweeties podcast of this episode yesterday, I was like really angry. I don't know how to, I was really mad. Like I was just pissed. I'm very upset by it, and I think that made me salty. And so I really just like leaned into how much I truly don't like Ed and have never liked him and refused to talk about him this entire season. And they made him, like so much of the tell all. He became like the kind of like the new Angela almost, where Angela, like, they gave her a Xanax, honey, and like put her in the back seat, honey. And it's just so much of him. And I hate him so much. I didn't even watch them. I hate them. I can't stand this. And they're not even supposed to be on the show. They're too Americans. So what I did is I decided to come to you tonight. Tonight here where I am, 7 o'clock. As you see, darkness outside. And if you're in America, it's probably dark where you are too, my loves. Having said that, I also brought the entirety of like a nighttime routine so that we can just like get chill together and I can just like get a different frame of mind to talk about this episode, even though I didn't really like it that much. And it made me really upset. But I'm going to spend time with you and turn things out and get some skincare on. So let's get into this episode. I do have some pictures for you. It's just like okay. No part of the episode made me happy. It's just, it was just so much of things that made me upset, from Bilal's friend. And just God, horrible to like, it's just up and down. So, okay. Having said that, obviously last time we were ending the first day of the tell all, right? Because we're in a show within the show. And so the first day of the tell all filming had ended and we had gone into the nighttime. And because they're being filmed at the Time Hotel in New York, and where they have to like do the Lord's work now, like getting in each other's faces and judging each other off screen, offset, obviously on screen. And before they can go to bed. And I just imagine how tired they are. Like at one point, like Shy says it. She's like, yeah, I had to like go to bed so I can get up at like the butt ass crack and be back here. So anyway, just going to put up my hair with one of those like little like sleep scrunchies things. I like these ones. I kind of like the smaller ones better than the bigger ones for some reason. I don't know. They're just like easier for my hair. So anyway, I'm also going to start by toning my face, and that's just going to be like, here's the thing. Rose water that I got from like a Arabic Persian store. So just like not anything beauty related, but like is a beauty product and something that's incredibly shishi, but I've talked about before, if you know, which is one of my 2022 stocking stuffers for people, which was Chanel cotton. You can buy Chanel and cotton pads. They're $20 for 100 of them, which, yeah, it's a lot for cotton, but it's not a lot for Chanel. You know what I'm saying? What a small little luxury. So I like to bathe the whole thing and then like do my whole face. Ugh, in the morning, this is the best. Now, because I've already taken a shower earlier today and I didn't put any makeup on, it's like why I don't have to like wash my face with like soap and everything like that. It's just a lot. So I decided to do this for you. Ugh, the sensuality of it. Side note is, yes, light a candle for your like, little more nighttime routine. This one is the red roses from Jo Malone. So we pick up with like Angela telling Ed how she is disappointed with him, which I'm disappointed that I have to watch these two people like at all talk about each other, because both of them are just horrible. But Angela's mad at what like Ed, I guess, had gotten upset at Liz or whatever, and so she's like, Ed, you can't do that, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, He's not ever mean to Angela. He's mean to meek older women. He's not going to be like mean to anyone that he can like actually do anything about it or like get back at him. So, like it's Andre and Angela talking and like telling Ed how horrible he is. And I wish that he like knew that already, but for some reason he doesn't. He needs these people to tell him and he still doesn't believe them. Like Ed has made some sort of like best friend friendship pact with Bilal that has really ruined my life. No, I'm just kidding. Has really ruined any sort of like, sorry, I'm like reading your comments. Okay. It's not that Bilal is whatever. Neither here nor there. I mean, I think that there are some like red flags, but I also feel like I don't hate him. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't hate him, and I definitely don't like Ed, and I just feel like Bilal seemingly wants to have a redemption in his character for the audience, and I am just really surprised that he decided to just like hook up with Ed. It's one of the more like surprising things. My only thought of, and again, I feel like nothing makes sense unless I just tell you that the producers told him to do it because Ed needed a friend. Like, ugh, that's honestly it. So here's me just going in with the like into my ears. Isn't that weird? I don't know. I just do it. I don't care. So this feels good. So Angela, like, says, "Would you want your dad to treat your mom like that? She is a woman." And Ed has, like, never really admitted, and even in any of these moments, to be like, "Yeah, I just, like, am insecure, and so I try to get, like, female attention." He just keeps saying he didn't do it, and it being, like, trying to get with Rose or was on a dating app. Like, he, like, keeps saying he just denies it, and then instead sometimes also turns it around on her, like, of course, the performative aspect or whatever. It's so interesting um why it's so hard for him to like see what he did wrong. Bilal has to literally coach him. Now here is a SkinCeuticals hyaluronic intensifier. And I'm putting this on mostly because I'm having some eczema on my face. I think it's because I used a eucalyptus scented cloth at Grit Cycle. It just like took me out. So um Bilal has to script out the way in which Ed is supposed to apologize, which of course is the like, don't say but. Like, just apologize when you have to apologize to someone. Don't be like, I'm sorry, but you did this, or I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's not. It's like you could just fucking say it and have no like adenum, oh God, you know what word I'm trying to say. Adenium, no, Adam. Adium. No. Just phonetically, please, someone, please put down in the chat what I'm trying to say. It's ADDIEUM or something like that. Okay. Um, anyway, nice to see all my friends. I'm just looking down. I wish I could like actually like spend more time. Okay, let me get past this. So Bilal gives advice actually throughout the series, and every time he gives advice, it's just like, I can't believe that you are a imam, or that anyone would come to you, or that you even feel like such justified. Like sometimes he gives advice to people where it feels like he is talking to himself and pranking us, and we're like, oh really? When you're in a fight with a woman and you have done something wrong, and you need to apologize. You're supposed to come at it heartfelt and not put the blame on her and not, like make her feel weird about it. Is that what you're supposed to do, Bilal? Huh? Can you like hear yourself? This is the Vinder's Daughter serum now. I'm just gonna warm it up and push it in. This is like 2018 beauty, but I don't care because the truth of the matter is I loved it then, and then I stopped buying it because of course it was expensive. But then this year, I don't know what it was. I just wanted it back in my life, and it just is like the such a gorgeous smell that I really like. It makes me feel taken care of, you know? So, um, here's me just putting it everywhere. I don't want to talk anymore about R- Rose. I'm sorry, Liz and Ed. It's just really annoying. So, um, so Shay has a conversation with Yara where she's like, "Yeah, when Angela came at you, you know, like I had your back." And I was like, "Did you?" I don't remember that at all. I definitely remember like Angela being in Yara's face and Angela being like, "You are unrespectful," and you know, like nothing happening. But then they actually replayed it, and this is a little argon oil. And yeah, you know, that's exactly, yeah, she was like, "Oh, Angela," she never got up. You said, "Angela, please, no, sit down, Angela." You know, so I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, these couples, it's like they really, I feel honestly, the producers were like, all right, this is a kindergarten class. We're about to go to a museum. It's a museum of natural history. We need buddy system. You have to look out for your buddy. I mean, you know, don't let your buddy go. Like, you know, like it's you and your buddy against the world. Well, whoever we pair you with for the rest of the day, honey, like you don't leave that person's side. If a stranger talks to you, you fucking whatever. And so they were just like, okay, Shy, yeah, uh, Kimberly, okay, well, Kimberly, why don't you like start with Jenny and then like halfway through go through Angela? Okay, you know, whatever, God bless. Let's do okay, Bilal and Ed, that's hilarious. Andre Lone Wolf. Okay, Andre, why don't you like hook up with Angela at one point, you know, like when Kimberly's with like Jenny, and then we'll like we can kind of switch you around a little bit, you know. Like it really does feel like that, doesn't it? And they all get lost in the end. Mhm. So anyway, Shy, however, does, you know, respect Yara. She respected her and her like hustle, you know, woman energy, and she respects that Yara knows how much, you know, Joey makes, and she wants to like have that energy. And it's funny because whoever Shy's talking to, like her energy changes, you know, like for a lot of the time she's very meek and submissive, and to Yara she is well, and definitely every time she talks to her friends, she's like, even you know, Uterus, she's the submissive one. Obviously all of Bilal's family, she's submissive one, but then sometimes she has conversations which is like, "Oh, Jenny, you have to go out there and blah bitty blue," and it's like Yara. I mean, sorry, Shay, you literally like Shy. I can't talk. Shy, you also have to like take your own advice. It's so funny. Um, so then Andre and the cast talk at the bar. It's like so funny. Like they really want to drive home another narrative, and the narrative is that like Andre is the problem. I have never felt like Andre is the problem. The reason why I don't feel like Andre is the problem is because Charlie was drunk at their wedding, and it was he was so toxic about it that it never made me feel like that anything that Andre did afterward was not justified. I find Andrew, I find Andre to be direct, a dominant personality. Yes. Eastern European. Yes. Yes. Mm, but the way he talks is that way. Like, for instance, okay. You know the part of the tell all in part 2 where we were talking of course to Charlie and Becky, and Sean was like, okay, so there was like a conversation between Andre and Charlie where Andre's like, "Oh, Libby won't even talk to you if I don't want her to. She doesn't care about you." And then Sean was like, "Libby, is that true? Do you really not care about ever talking to Charlie again or seeing him again?" And then like Libby, I honestly felt like had no trouble being like, "No, that's not real. That's not right. No, Andre, I'm gonna absolutely always care for my brother and love my brother." And then Andre's like, "Oh, okay." I didn't think that that Andre then sat there and was like, "Oh, not if I have any words with you." You know, like, no, I think that Andre was like, "I'm just a little hot-headed in this moment." You know, I don't know. I just whatever. So also you could also be like, "Chris, why are you even talking about them?" You know, they're like trying to get that spin-off. And so whatever, nothing is real. Everything is fake. I mean, this is like watching the Matrix. This is like watching a video game. This is the Matrix, honey. Like none of this is real. Okay. We all have plugs in our head. We have to like, you know, okay. So okay, so God bless. So, one part that really that was okay, so one part that happened that I remembered and then Wa brought up was really, really interesting that I didn't realize, which I think is LOL, which is so as I said, Bilal and Ed have booed up or whatever. And so after like this rooftop like hangout session, like everyone's fucking tired, as I said, and then Shy's like wants to go to bed. So they go to bed and like somehow Bilal, well, not somehow, Bilal uses his mouth and tells Shy like things about Ed. Like, oh, you should put a little deodorant on. I love lavender. This is I have a lot of this stuff, the EO essential oils line. So just like a little spray. And he's like, yeah, don't just like totally have Liz aside because when Liz and Ed fight, she has said a lot of low blows. Now, Wah immediately was like, "W- w- uh, what are those low blows? What is she saying? What is like because what could be the worst thing you could say? Like you could say a lot of horrible things. You could say a lot of horrible things. Like for Ed, every blow is low. There is no blow that isn't. Like you can't. He's tiny. So it's like, okay, so same brand, the EOS essential oil body oil, great. Um I just like, yeah, she having been turned against to like maybe Liz to think that Ed is like at all good is just of course annoying because he's so shitty. Um, and then like so Ed is shitty because also he can really go out certain people, and it's definitely women who don't have a man there physically that would be able to defend them. So he's never going to go after Yara, but he is going to go after Jenny and Kimberly. And he goes after Kimberly hard. Now they're at the studio and he's just like, oh, like you win, you just like put your stuff in everyone's business. And she's like, well, when people come for me, I'm going to own it. He's like, you don't think your shit stinks? And then Kimberly's like, oh, I think my shit stinks so horribly bad. No, bad. No, I know. I know my shit stinks. And I'll tell you right now, this is the most lavender smelling room in possible history. And if there's anything that smells like lavender, it's my shit. My shit is lavender. It's French Provence. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put some hair growth serum stuff on because I really just want to like get some more locks. I bought something for my scalp, and then we'll just use something basic for my eyelashes and eyebrows. I got one of these like this ASMR finest. I can't take it out. It's one of these spoolie things because of the product on my hands. I can't take it out. Come out. There it is. Whew. It's a good one too. Okay, so at one point I just like think it's funny, like they all have their places to sit in the green room. And sometimes I wonder if it's like the producers being like, that's your ex, that your ex. Because honestly, at one point Ed walks on and then decides to sit on the couch when it's very obvious there's no room for him on that couch. So, anyways, people start coming in, Yara, Angela, everyone, like has to turn back into whatever they wore last night, I'm sorry, yesterday for the first part of the taping, so like Angela's back in the green dress. But do you guys see that like bag that she brought in? It was like pink, pink, pink. It was like, at first I was like, is that Lisa Frank? And then I realized that like, no, probably not. And then I was like, oh, maybe it is. But then I was like, I think it looks like that JoJo Siwa person, Sawa, like it looks like her brand. Looks like it's the kind of thing that like young dancers would bring into like a dance class. There's just like bows like popping out of it at left and right. So, Yara also comes in with like one of those like real, like hip young girl outfits, which is like, this young girls are just wearing like sorry, I can't do this. The baggiest trousers, like baggy trousers. Like sometimes they have like a cuff on them. And then for structure purposes and for like proportions, you then have to wear a like tiny crop top or bodysuit style, just like fitted top in order to make that proportion look good. And that means it's just like, oh God, it's a lot. So Sean starts, thank God, the tell all about being like, well, we have lots of other couples to discuss. And that's after they devoted even more time to Ed and Liz. And I refuse to talk about them. So her saying that we have lots more couples to discuss makes me feel like they know that they've done us such wrong by having so much of these horrible people. Okay. Um, Kimberly knows that it's her day. So they come to her and she had already said that her and Usman were not together, but she says she does still love him, and that she does want him to be happy, and that she does still text him every day, multiple times a day. I was surprised by that. Like I was like, "Oh, Jesus." Like that is, I mean, like, that is a lot. That is just a lot for someone who like was in love with someone and who started as a super fan. I mean, that's just like what I mean, that's not good. That's not healthy. Like, even to say it out loud, does she, like, somewhat shiver? I mean, I always feel like I know it's hard to let go of a loved one, and I know it's hard to let go of a relationship, but it's always awkward when you're like, "Oh, we're not together." No, nope, not together. Not one more not and then every day we talk and see each other or talk or FaceTime or talk or text every day, multiple times a day. Because I just wonder if you, like, hear yourself. If, like, that feels weird to you. And, like, this is a great point. I looked down. And also, what do you have to talk about? It's not your future. And he can't talk about the women in his life, obviously, you know? Um, so now here's the thing. Kimberly, I think in order to be able to bypass some of the judgment she might get for being bananas bonkers head over heels in love with someone who like obviously wasn't as into it as her, and she started off the way she started off, which of course was a super fan, and she came bearing gifts and not just like a nice candle, which I mean that Joe Malone candle is like $90. She brought like a PS5, you know what I'm saying, and a MacBook Pro. I mean, just like, okay, so she, I think, wanted to jump ahead of anyone making her feel like embarrassed by that, by being like, we're not together after what you saw because of me. I ended it. He would like very much in this very moment to be with me, and we would have worked it out, or who knows, but it was me that ultimately was like making a choice. I am in power. I'm in my power, and I'm leaving you, and I'm going to take this energy and give it to a new and wish you the best and move the fuck on. Like that's, well, first of all, she doesn't even know that that's like the better thing to do. So she's only trying to tell us that she did one thing, which is that she's the one who took off the ring. She wants it to be like, and I took off the ring, and then I was like, immediately texting. And then I left and texted him. I called him my favorite. Like, then you're like, you just ended what? You ended wearing the ring? So now you took a step back from the thing you wanted, which to get was to get married? So, hmm, it's just so interesting. Um, I love you guys. So, I also found another crazy product. You tell me, this is like from a Facebook group I joined. Maya Chia, which is Power FOL. It's an advanced multi-correctional scalp and hair wellness treatment. High performance natural. Okay, so it helps to prevent hair loss and encourage hair growth and strength. I wish it would actually tell me how to talk. I can't talk. Our proprietary vegan formulation comprises an all-star list of advanced, clinically proven phytoactive ingredients, including multiple peptides, vegetable column amino acids, high quality vitamins, and fermented minerals. Okay, so I basically have just I'm gonna shake it, take this off, and then just do like my temples. Like of course. I like it because it has this thing, this nice little like squirty squirts, and you can kind of like get in, you can like really get close to the scalp. So just like I'm really hoping that it does something. So usually I just like put it in and then I try and like massage whatever tries to like fall down my face back into my whatever this is, scalp. Now, the reason why I like this is because this is not oily. So this will technically dry and like, you know, not like oil up my hair. I mean, granted, I'm going to work out tomorrow, but I do have to go to my office beforehand and I just like, the office. So, I do that, and then I usually just like give myself like a little like massage. Another thing you can do, of course, is go back and then just like give yourself like, ooh, ooh, what's happening with this thing? With a little leftover castor oil from the thing. Do, 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 do. So, okay. Then, we have conversations with Usman, like why it ended, what was happening, like how he feels. And we bring out Kimberly's secret weapon, which is her son. I don't know if he's a secret weapon, but Jamal comes out and we get a version of Jamal that we've seen before. It's so interesting because last time me and you have seen him, it was the single life tell all. Okay, so the single life tell all, Jamal comes, I mean, like sauntering out, honey, like as the surprise new boyfriend of Veronica, of Tim and Veronica. And during that tell all, he presented a person that was like a player, basically, kind of like not wanting to be committed to her. It's interesting because what does he want of Usman that he wasn't willing to give to Veronica? Like Usman was willing to give his mother a committed relationship, marriage. He wouldn't even give Veronica like st- BF status. Jamal's like, last time I was on the tell all, not the Veronica one, the one with you guys, Mom. I sat here and I was like, I don't want Usman to break her heart because if he breaks her heart, it's going to be me. I'm going to be the one that's going to pick it up. And Usman, you said that's never going to happen. And look where we are. It's just me and her just picking up them broken pieces. And I'm like, oh, okay, broken pieces of your mom. She left him. I thought she left him. And, like, okay. So, um, sorry. Jamal thinks that he guilted her into breaking up with the fact that, and Usman does throughout this tell-all just keeping like, but it wasn't me that can't have kids, it's her. We need to have kids, and it's like, technically she could still be with Usman. If she wants to be the first wife, she can just move to Nigeria and be the first wife, and then polygamy is allowed, and he can get the second wife, and then they can have kids and blah 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 blah. The funny thing is, When she told him that she wouldn't want to not be in America, and then he realized that he couldn't have, a child of his own, he is the one that pivoted and is like, "Okay, so what if I adopt?" Then he like compromised. I still feel like it was a compromise, and like they made it seem like it was so crazy of her. I mean, like, she made it seem sorry. She made it seem like it was so crazy of him to do that, and it's like, I feel like it was a life compromise. They're like, "You to him, Usman, you knew that Kimberly couldn't have kids." And it's like, "Yeah, but also Kimberly knew that Usman wanted kids." Angela, of course, hearing this is like, it's almost too much. Angela must feel like she's in like a parallel universe. She must feel like she's watching her life before her eyes, because not only is she watching an older white Biddy like talk about the fact that she can't have kids to like, a Nigerian guy who's younger, she's watching it on the stage of a 90-day tell all. I wonder if she's having like an out of body experience. I wonder why that's one of the reasons why she's like somewhat mellow. She's like, and maybe, I don't know. I would also like, could you imagine if someone gave her like shrooms? I would love to see like her be deep and like really like focused and or like trip somewhere. I also feel like, what if you gave her shrooms and she had like some sort of transformative process where she became like empathetic and cool to people? I don't know. Maybe it's not shrooms or it's like ketamine or whatever. I don't know. It's whatever Harry did. Did you watch the 60 Minutes? Okay, so Prince Harry, I'm talking about. I'm all over the place. So Jamal just is like, he used her to stay relevant as he played the fuck out of my mom. And Kim doesn't believe that. She says, you can say all you want. But like when we were alone, when we were in bed, when we were just like at 4 and 5 a.m., like it was real, real, real. And they're like, "Yeah, was it?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, yeah, it's totally real." And Usman's like, "Yeah, of course it's real because we had sex." And they're like, "Well, honey, it doesn't mean anything." And he's like, "No, you can't have. Nobody had sex. You would be in love if you had sex." They're like, um, "Excuse me, sir." Jamal's like, "I don't love Veronica. Are you insane? I won't even bring her name up on this tell-all. They're not gonna even ask me about her. Last time you saw me, this woman was all around my neck, honey, like a snake on Britney Spears in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like around me. We're not gonna ever bring it up. You definitely don't need to be in love to have sex." So, um, I would love to deep dive into what happens a little bit next. Is a little confusing, which is that Usma then brings up the fact that there's cultural differences between sex and love and what that means, and like what a family unit is and what a relationship is between us, the like Westerners, and Nigeria. He's like, "Come to northern Nigeria, you'll see how it is." Like, and I just like, I really want like there to be just like an aside where him and Michael like spell it out for us. What's love? What is sex? What's it like to be aroused? Like, like, does that all, is that all the same person? Are those all different things to you? You love someone, you think someone is sexy, those are different people? The thought of it, like, or is there some people that have found all those things in one and that's love? It's so interesting. Then we see the scene that we remember, which is the scene that Usman has with his mother's pick to be the childbearing wife. And this was the early compromise before he was going to adopt. And remember this scene. It's when he goes to his mom's house and there's this real pretty girl, honey, like super young, gorgeous lady who is wearing perfect eyeliner. And he's like, "Hey, like, what's up?" And she's like, "Being gorgeous," and he's like, "Okay, so my situation is like I have a relationship with this woman and she wants to be the first wife." And he's like, "Would you be okay with that?" And she's like, Surely not. I love that. I love surely not. I feel like it's low key a vibe. It's a low key vibe that I want to take into 2023 dating, which is high expectations and high standards. Surely not. I know what I want. I have my own boundaries. Surely not. Would I ever let those come down for that? What are you offering? Nothing that I can find valuable. Like I just like it. So now at the end of the scene, we remember that Usman gets this girl's number so he can talk to her further. Now, I don't know if Kimberly had not watched that scene or she hadn't seen the episode yet or exactly what happened, but she really freaks out. Why? I'm not quite sure because they're not together. But she had let it be known early on that she doesn't want to like learn any new things about it. So, hmm. um but she's very upset. She has to like cry. Jamal gets up, hugs her, and is like, "It's me and you versus the world." No, he's like, "Don't worry, mom. It's me and you," or something like that. I want it to be Kimberly, her therapist, like maybe like a life coach that works with people that have served our country. Like, is there like is I mean, not a life coach, but is there maybe like a therapist that she can get like for people that have served or something, like let's talk about, what we offer and then how we make sure that we aren't over giving ourselves to someone who does not want it, does not feel, and does not feel like that person has to give anything back. Kimberly is insecure, and we've been knowing this. For whatever reason, she found Usman, and Usman found another way to have another season on the show, and here we are. But Jamal can't be indebted to like dealing with his mom's dating issues because it's either going to like fuck up his or I mean absolutely just fuck up his. One of them. You know what I'm saying? Um then we move on to Bilal and Chai, like Bilal and Chai, and like we know a couple of things about them, honey. She wants a baby. She don't know about how much money he has. So that's what we're gonna talk about. And basically, um, he's like, look, started trying to think about maybe like a baby was a good thing. And she's like, so we tried a couple times, but the truth of the matter is, like, I want to focus on building a business and have my own money and being able to be self-sufficient. I'm getting a lot of like, you know, and I don't know if they can say this, but it's very obvious just from just by life we know, like momentum from being on the show, and they're very active on social media. They're making reels. Anyone that you see making reels is actively trying to hack the algorithm. I know it because I should do it, but I mean, I don't know how you put reels. Ugh, God bless. Anyway, so she's trying to focus on that money, honey. Also because he doesn't let her have any. Like, not even, like, any couch change, like, he checks the couches. He doesn't put the credit card information into the into the computer. She can't just make any purchases. There's no Apple Pay. You know what I'm saying? He is a Scrooge McCheaps, McFrugal, you know? And I think it feels, like, very stifling to her. And so, I mean, it's interesting now that he's like, "Yeah, let's put a baby in it." Um They then show us this absolutely dumb, horrible scene where they go to an herbalist for like fertility, and that guy like gives him advice, and he gives Bilal advice, and Bilal's like natural lack of humor and like somewhat egotistical nature makes it a very awkward scene where like the herbalist is like, "Have you tried edging?" And edging means, like coming to the like edge of coming and then just not coming and then just like doing that a couple times and then just like so that when it happens it's like a whole situation. Um Bilal, like, doesn't want to have advice over his sperm, like, he's not into it or whatever, and so he's very awkward in the scene, and that's why it was on the cutting room floor, but, like, they at least were like, "Well, if we show the scene, we can still bring up the word edging in front of, like, all these other people that have more of a personality, and maybe one of them can take it." Like Andre, who's like, "I know what edging is." I love that Andre knows what edging is. I don't know why when he said that, we didn't get to cut immediately to Libby's face. Money, honey. Mary had a little lamb, honey, a little lamb. Okay, so um when Sean's like, Shy, you wanted to have a baby and now you're focusing on business? Why is the back and forth? And Angela is like, well, that's what us women are. We're just flippity flopper back and forthers. Like, comes straight from the 1940s with like women are just emotional creatures not knowing what they need to do all the time. Thank God she has a Bilal to keep her in line. Like you're just like, what? Who are you? What, Angela? Are you insane? Could you imagine if like someone tried to like diminish anything Angela wanted or needed by being like, that's how women are. They're just loud, dramatic, very controlling, selfish, insecure beings. I don't know. Ugh, I don't know. So the worst part of this tell all happens here. Okay. The worst part. And the worst part is that out of fucking nowhere, we meet like some dude who is Bilal's friend who looks like this. Okay. I said this on the podcast, but it's true. Like he just like gave me like the apprentice cousin of Kevin Samuels. Some weird dude who has certain opinions on how men and women should be. And he comes in and just starts talking absolutely insanely. Okay. And then we also get Utress, who we know and we love. And we replay a scene where Utress had told Shy that after a conversation with Bilal that she had reasoned that he does want a kid, and so that if she wants a kid, all Shy should do is like maybe just like stop taking the birth control pills. And then Shy had to be like, he wears a condom. And then Utress, like all of us, were like, oh wow. No, wow. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, no, it's a whole lot. It's just like a whole lot. Yeah, just like that is a choice, honey. And the choice is whatever it takes. God, it's just so funny. I was like, it's just I don't have to tell you, like, so many men will do whatever it takes not to wear a condom. And men will do it with women they just met, women they don't know, women they met. The women is like, oh, I'm not dating anyone else. Maybe they say that. I mean, like, like it's just so notorious. It feels like it's so notorious that men usually don't want a condom involved. And it's just so shocking that he's married, honey. He's married, and he knows at some point he should have a kid with her. He already said he's going to, like, in the contract, and yet he like still used a condom. And you just, how much do you hate the feeling of sex? My God, like, God, so interesting. I'm really trying to like, okay, that's how you do it. I really hate braiding. Okay, so unfortunately, this conversation being played is a conversation that the entire cast jumps down Utras's neck. And it's not that I don't get why, but unfortunately, this man particular goes in on Utris in such a way that I feel like it should be known that across the land, women need to band together and never give him any sort of vagina again. I mean, he doesn't deserve it. He really doesn't. Like, we can't be doing it. I don't think he does. He just like goes in on her and is like, how dare you say that? You know what? Only single women would have such a horrible advice. You're not married, therefore, you have absolutely no qualifications to give any sort of advice. And I mean, I don't have to tell you, that man isn't it. That man is not it. So we had to watch that man yell at Utris, who we had never met before, and he was so loud. And Bilal said nothing and didn't stand up for his wife's girlfriend. And like Sean, I feel like I just wanted someone to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, a crazy YouTube banshee started like intercepted our feed, and we just like had to cut him off. Sorry about it, guys. Going back." I mean, like I don't know. I mean, like I just thought it was so unnecessary and sort of angry. I don't know. Angry and toxic. So, Jenny's uncomfortable. Um, we start to move on to Jenny and Sumit. Jenny and Sumit living the life apart. It's very hard for them because they're basically codependent. And we've been knowing this. Like, Jenny doesn't want him to work, like it's interesting because I was thinking about codependency. It's I've never been married, but I definitely know what it's like to be in codependent relationships with women as friends. And there can be a lot of resentment that like breaks up with like what you do for someone or like when that person can't be there for you and when you need space and time and like the fact that you are two different people and that it and separate beings. And so at the same time, when I guess when your relationship, you have one life together, right? Like you have a life and you kind of like co-create it together, and yet you move within it as two separate beings that like you try to create as much happiness as you can for everyone involved while still maintaining some semblance of your own. It's interesting. Jenny very much knows that she's codependent, and Sumit knows too. They're like, "Yep, check and check." I think that it's interesting because there's also like the American idea of independency, like and some cultural ideas of what it's like to be family dependent. So I don't quite understand the boundaries there, like what makes someone independent or too independent and like, or yeah, an American independent person as opposed to like a culturally dependent person, but it's a rational normal amount of dependency. you know? For instance, if you live with someone, if you still live with your family members, you could be more dependent on them, of course. um, Sumit's family gets there, and by gets there, comes in. And oh, I forgot to say this Bilal part. Oh, I'm so sorry, my loves. At one point, Bilal is like, okay, well, will you go half in on a baby? He like proposes to have a baby with her. I don't know, but she like, I don't understand this. I just love the idea, like, will you want to go half on a baby? It's even like a cheap way of saying that. Hey, you want to split a baby with me? Are you saying that on camera so that like you're trying to get her to say that like if you guys break up, she what doesn't have to pay child support? Or, like she doesn't get child support? Is that I mean like I truly was like, what does that even fucking mean? Okay, so then we get Sumit's family. This is the only person that we care about. Look at her, God bless. She's become honestly the spokesperson of his family. She's the only one that talks. She's not wearing her contacts, but she is wearing, I mean, every diamond possible. I mean, like it's It's interesting because both these I don't even know what Sumit's brother looks like. I know what Sumit's dad looks like because he's, like, somewhat interesting looking, but we don't need to see him here, but, like, it's just whatever. So, she basically tells us that the update is Sumit, her, Jenny, and whoever is, like, sitting next to her, they hang out, and it's chill when they hang out. They're like, you know I don't know if they're going to dinner, honey. I don't know if they're eating ramen. I definitely know they're probably not like cracking jokes and like enjoying fun times together. She doesn't, neither one of these people seem warm. And then, of course, we realize that Sumit's mom's not there, so probably isn't good. And it's true. Sumit's mom is still not into it, still not going to give him the blessing. And Jenny never sees Sumit's mom. However, Sumit's dad is like, Sumit's mom and Sumit see each other. She's totally chilled with Sumit. She's nice and everything is cool. So basically, what they do is that they hang out with Sumit and Sumit never gets to bring his wife. And that somehow is working for all of them. That's that. Now, at this point, Sean like pushes for something to happen. And so Sumit's dad decides to give them his blessing, which really means nothing because Sumit's parents had already given him this blessing, and it doesn't mean anything. They just don't care, take it back, or mean again, or angry, whatever it is. And plus, we obviously know that no one with a penis in Sumit's family is ever going to go against Sumit's mom, especially Sumit's dad, but also Sumit. I wonder if Sumit's brother-in-law, no, sorry, Sumit's brother's wife, Sumit's sister-in-law. I wonder if there's ever been like any fights that she's had with Sumit's mom and what they have been like and what they are over and who won. The fact that she's sitting there in the middle of the family, like being the spokesperson. Now, maybe you could say she speaks the best English. I'm not quite sure, but like, I also wonder. Yeah, I wonder what their fights have been like. So then, God bless, Sean, like is talking to Michael, and she's like, "Is it raining there, Michael?" And it is, and that kind of like gets us to believe that like, or gets us to pay attention if we weren't paying attention that Michael is in a place that it's raining, and Usman is in a place, and oh look, they're both in Nigeria, and must be the same place because they're both in Nigeria, and protection's out there, and this makes Angela very upset because Angela has walked into this tell-all not liking Usman and not wanting Michael to like hang out with Usman. And so she starts making demands like, Michael, don't you go hang out with Usman. And, that makes Usman mad because he's like, you can't just tell someone not to hang out with me when you're thousands of miles away. And Angela's like, oh, I absolutely can because he sleeps with me. And if he wants to continue to sleep with me, he won't go hang out with you. Now, I could also argue he could also just see him and still sleep with you because he can do whatever he wants. He's in a different country. Tell you whatever. I mean, I'm just also does he sleep with you? Unless you go out there. I mean. So then like Usman is like, I don't give a shit about that. Angela like gets angry and wants to call Michael and tells him to cut off his mic. Cameras follow her, and she yells at him for being at the same hotel as Usman. Now, I don't understand if it was like, it seems like he lied to her and said they were at a different hotel. What I don't understand is why couldn't Michael just be like, baby, I did not make the hotel reservations. The crew of 90 Day Fiance did. So I don't know. Like, what do you want me to go? A different hotel? There's not that many hotels. I don't know what he could say. I would like to think they're all staying at the Lagos Travel Inn, but I'm not quite sure, and I'm sure there's a lot of hotels in Lagos. So then at some point, Michael then barges over to where Usman is filming, and you see like him like knock, knock, knock on the door and like come in, and then Usman's like, man, and he comes in and like, he's like, fuck off, and that's all. That's the end of it, babes. That is the end. Can you believe it? I love you guys. Thank you so much for having watched this with me. We're going to talk a little longer. If you haven't yet, please like this video. Please subscribe if you have, for any reason not. Really could use it. I like the scenes for the next one. It's like really Well, obviously the fourth one, and it has to be better. And if there is literally any mention of Ed and Liz, I will throw up. I'll throw up. Like I really they need to like come in. It's interesting. I will tell you, it would be great. And this is what I would do if I was like a manager or something. They need to have dropped some more tea in the past couple of weeks to give a final boost to the tell all part 4. Because there's like nothing happening with Yara and Jovi. There's nothing really happening with Andre and Libby. There's nothing happening with Sumit and Jenny. There's nothing happening with Kimberly and Usman. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, it's shitty. But Toe is coming up, so we really get to also dive into brand new faces, which is just great. Like we deserve it, don't we? We need like freshness here. Thanks, Amsterdam. Ed and Liz are back together. Sorry. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Just saw them on Reddit shopping at AK. Oh God. Yeah, of course. I mean, I said this on the podcast. He's so truly hideous. I mean, like she's an Aphrodite for him, I don't know what he thinks he's gonna ever get in comparison. Um, that's why it's like so weird that he would be at all rude to her. But I always thought, I never forgave him for cheating on his wife, the wife that gave him a normal looking baby. I'll never forgive him for that. Can you imagine? Well, no. Oh, God bless. So, anyway, yeah, I am excited to wind down this on this season. I am excited, but I just like truly can't. Did you guys watch MILF Manor? Did anyone watch MILF Manor? And did you guys watch, or are you guys planning on watching Seeking Brother Husband? That's what's exciting. Um, yeah, I am almost done with the tell-alls for Sister Wives, and then hopefully, I can do that. Sorry, it took me so long to, like, catch up. And on the podcast front, we have a lot going on there, which is we watched all of the Bernie Madoff docuseries. That's on there. Of course, as I already said, this episode of 90 Day Fiance, the one I just talked about, has a whole podcast with my friend Wa, just call me Wa, on DocuSweetie. So if you came in late or you want extra of that already exists free as a podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. If you are someone who truly wants to watch the visuals like you're watching now, you're welcome to join our Patreon. It's $10 a month. It's DocuSweeties, patreon.com/DocuSweeties. And so, yeah, right now, the 4 episodes of the Bernie Madoff Netflix docuseries, The Monster of Wall Street, is up there. We also have Miss Cleo up there. We also have a docuseries called Killer Sally up there, which is not on the podcast as of yet. We also on the podcast have already done with the live streams all of the Love in Paradise, a Caribbean story that's airing. However, I think that we have been slowly releasing some of the YouTube, so we'll see if that happens there more. So there's a lot, and we are hopefully going to do another collab with Reality Gaze coming up. Where is MILF Manor? It's TLC, so it'll be Discovery Plus. And yes, watching Seeking Brother Husband for sure. I'm so excited about that. Yes, Seeking Brother Husband. I just want to wish you a happy new year and thank you for your content. Thank you, Michelle. That's so sweet. Enough women to think they're MILFs on 90 Day. Ha ha ha. I watched the Madoff docu. Yeah. I mean, just horrible, like some interesting. I remember that part a lot. The interesting part of the docu series for me was that he never made any trades. Like I didn't realize he never made any trades. It's one thing just like take money in and then just like give people, a little bit of their money and say that's the money they made and never, like whatever, you can do that. But the fact that he was supposedly a financially literate person, like very much, a titan of Wall Street and still didn't make one trade was fascinating. How do you do all these shows and keep your skin so clear? What's so funny? My skin, like I actually First of all, I don't know why, like, sometimes my lighting is actually really good. I'm trying to, like, bring it down. I actually am suffering from some eczema, so my skin isn't the best right now, like, I don't know if you can see. 'Cause I put so much oil on. Honestly, the skin trick of Hollywood is to take a little bit of I'm not saying it's great, this is what they do, okay? This is what I'm not saying I'm not a doctor. There's a prescription drug called spirulactone, and a lot of people just take a little bit of spirulactone. But I think it can mess up your liver, so you have to, like, talk to your doctor and don't listen to me, you know? They warned about us Ponzi in 2000. Yeah, the other part of the docuseries, it's great. There's, like, this, like, fucking crazy, like, mathematician who's like, this isn't real, and then just, like, keeps writing emails to, like, the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, just, like, long emails just being like, "This is fucking bananas. Want you listening to me? Like, this is bananas and not and improbable, like, mathematically, like, not real. Like, this is crazy." Anyone? Knocky knock, and no one for years. And in the years that he started to try and, like, tell them about it, the amount of billions that got funneled in was, like, just grew. Um, just out of curiosity, what's your day job? I work with my dad in wealth management, so that I help him in business development and much like an assistant would, and as I'm trying to like learn the business, I have multiple sometimes other things I do. Like sometimes I act, and sometimes I host, and sometimes you know, I don't know, what do I write? Sometimes I'm hopefully gonna get more into performing this year, but it's been so weird, you know? If you liked the Madoff drama, read The Glass Hotel, a fictionalized account. Okay, great. If my finance guy doesn't call and personally apologize for market, I pull my money. Apologize for market? Like, market. Yeah, I mean, like, the market goes down? Ha, 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 ha. I'm so sorry, yeah. Um, yeah, so if I was to tell you, I think I told so I went to Edinburgh, which is a theater festival, if you guys know, if you remember last year or if you were around. And so I really would love to do a show at Edinburgh. So I have to sort of like drum up, seeing if I can do that and see if I can like get my ducks in a row. So it will be a lot more performing, hopefully. But also I have to get my Series 65 so I can be a wealth manager and actually make people money by hopefully using good know-how and just like smart conservative, financial investing to accrue uh, a percentage that will beat inflation for you and taxes so that your money will just at least mostly stay your money as we progress into the years. Okay. Um, so let's see. Other than that, my loves, it's been truly great spending some time with you. Yeah, lots on the docket I'm excited about. Um, I've been like trying to again like get back in my exercise routine. So if you've been doing that or need help or want to talk about it, Vanity Fair, I will because I've been like wearing my Apple Watch, which always really helps me because I like track my workouts and then I can feel like somewhat like on track in like a visual way. Um, Edinburgh is one of the most beautiful cities. I absolutely agree. How's your dad's dating life? He's seeing a nice lady right now. And she's an elegant, very sweet woman, and they have a lot of common interests. He's traveling a bunch, he always has so much going on, and so I'll be traveling with him, and I'm hopefully going and just trying to like see if it's always like about his. I feel like my ultimate goal in his life is always trying to get things off his plate. And as I like get things off his plate, he just grabs more and puts it on then he gets extra plates. And then it'll be like a dessert plate, and there's like the bread plate, and there's like a saucer that a teacup should be on, but then he puts something on that plate. Like it's just so many fucking plates. It's bananas. My ultimate goal is always to have him like be rested or like rest and be less stressed. But like my dad is someone who always wants to go, 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 go. So But I think but I would say that he's happy, you know? And thanks to everyone in chat for their opinions. Yeah, I love you, Renee. I love everyone here. Thank you, T Jones. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Renee. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Ramsterdam, Michelle, AK. You know, like I always love seeing Tara. I'm I like yeah, it's like one thing to like Shay. I love to Amy, see people and then I love to like talk back. So are you all just like, I'm just happy the season's over? Like, are we all like, I feel like that's where it is. I'm actually, yeah, have you watched the Toe season trailer? Like, have you seen the new episode? See the new couples. And would you be interested in like a meet the couples? Maybe we can put up their pictures and stuff like that. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. I think so. I think it's gonna be good blood. I think it's gonna be like, um, people who are excited to put their drama on screen because it's fresh and, they're not making money yet. You know, have you been watching Jasmine at all, like, on Instagram? Jasmine got a blasphetectomy, which I'm not you know Jasmine of, like, Gino? It's like yeah, I think she got, like, eyelid surgery. I wonder if she's gonna be back on the show. They're together all the time, it seems like. She's always posting them together. So, meet the couples is always fun. Yay! What's toe? The other way. 90 Day Fiance the other way when they go to the other when the Americans go to the foreign place. We believe the season's over, but can't wait for the next. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. God, I can't wait. I can't wait to see. Like, I just like I still think about the Mike and Hamina. Sorry. Gino and wait, Mike. I was right. Mike and Hamina, Gino, Jasmine season. That was like the last great season. This one was really bad. But you know, also I know that loves is anyone watching 90 Day a Caribbean Love Story that didn't watch it when it was originally released on Discovery Plus? Is anyone watching the episodes now on TLC? Do you think Angela will be back on again? Yeah. That's why I think that they try to make this like whole like Michael's bad thing to try and get people to like buy more time empathizing or whatever, allowing TLC to show her. Ah, Mickey. Only want new couples, tired of the old ones, honey. I know. I know we're just like Leonardo DiCaprio, honey. We like want all of our couples to be new, fresh, under a certain age of seasons on the show. Once they get past a certain number of seasons on the show, honey, they're old. We like to cast them aside. Woke up. I love you. I know. I truly already talked about this whole season though, and I have to go. Um, but I do. I have all of the things I'm excited about that we've talked about that's coming up, which is exciting. I put on, I mean, can you imagine how many serums on my face and how many like different oils and stuff like that? You should watch Love Without Borders. Love Without Borders. That feels like feels like 90 Day Fiance. What the hell is Love Without Borders? Bravo? Oh. In this bold okay, well, let's see what this is. In this bold social experiment, 6 American singles who have struck out on love of their home turf risk everything and step blindly onto a plane to an unknown overseas destination to be paired with their perfect life partner. Participants will say goodbye to their jobs, homes, and families to see if matchmakers can scour the world for their one ideal match. At the end of the experiment, they will be faced with a stark choice of leaving life as they knew it behind and starting over for love or returning to the previous. Wow. Wednesday the 18th is the next episode. Oh, episode 8. So yeah, they've done 8 episodes so far. Are you guys into it? I had not obviously heard of it. Um Oh my god. I love you guys. Okay. I'll look it up. I will look it up. Ah, my goodness gracious, Michael, my loves. We are going to go ahead and do a breath. Listen, it's Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day. And so, I really would love if you wouldn't mind to use our collective like breath and energy for like that man and his family and the work he did and the strength and courage that it took to do it, and to try and cultivate like some of that within ourselves, as well as, of course, like what his work was about, which was bringing forth a world in which, like, regardless of race and color and creed, people look at each other and see a familiarity in each other's eyes. Like, if instead of looking at strangers, there was this immediate reaction of like, well, I can see someone's soul, and that is a familiar feeling because I have one too. We are people. I think that, yeah, I think that, obviously, there's a lot of work to be done in like this country and all over the world when it comes to race. So it's definitely not to be ideal about it. But if we can in this moment, I like the idea of honoring him and what it took to be him, and literally what it took to do that work, and also be what the work was. And also just reminding ourselves of like maybe taking some of that grace and dignity and courage in which he lived his life and worked, and try and like lean into it, in whatever ways we can for ourselves. Okay, should we let everything out and should we breathe it in? I think we should. And then one more. I think about like Martin Luther King's family because if you are around that person that he's touched to do the work he does, and you love that person because you know him and you're his family, there must be also a part of your soul that knows that he'll be taken from you because there's a danger in this world and what he's doing is too powerful and too truthful. So I think about his family, like watching him giving speeches, as proud as I'm sure they were, and maybe like there's a pit in some of their stomachs of like, not if, when he's taken away, how it will be. And he was, and it couldn't have been I couldn't have been surprising, obviously. But like you had to let him obviously do what he had to do, what his like calling was, like knowing how dangerous it was. And he just kept doing it. So it's just so it's like it's interesting when someone has like a divineness to them, where that they are in their they're in their spirit doing what their work is. You just can't even like, anyway, God bless him, of course, and his family, um and my God, what a legacy. Jackie Kennedy didn't like him? I did not know that. MLK's mother was also killed. I think I knew that. Jackie Kennedy didn't like him. I'm gonna deep dive into that. I hope it was just because is she racist? Or I don't know. I'm not like, what's so funny? I'm not like the biggest I don't know a lot about Jackie Kennedy other than the fact that she spoke French. Oh yeah, Jackie O, not an MLK fan, expressed a disdain for him on a newly released tape recording, saying she couldn't look at a what? She didn't look at a picture of him without thinking that man's terrible, but later came to admire the civil rights leader. She called him phony and tricky during hours of chatty, never before revealed interviews with historian. Made derogatory remarks about her husband's funeral. Oh, so the former First Lady said on the tapes that King had made derogatory remarks about her husband's funeral and the Cardinal who celebrated Mass at the event. He made fun of Cardinal Cushing and said that he was drunk the funeral, and things about they almost dropped the coffin. I just can't see a picture of MLK without thinking, that man's I mean, oh God, I don't know. No, I did not know that. Wow, that's crazy. She thought he was a womanizer like her husband. Ooh, oh. Ooh. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. God bless. Okay, well, I don't care. It's not her day. It's his day. And a lot of men are womanizers. It is what it is. And yeah, her husband definitely was one. And if she projected, it's because she was like in her own pain and trauma. And I get it. I can't imagine. Anyway, yeah. What I wanted to say was, of all that era of women, my favorite is Grace Kelly. I always loved Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly's who I, like hang my hat on as like women of that era that like I'm just like you're everything. So, anyway, I love you guys. I'm going to let you go, but I wish you the best and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your night. I hope you have a gorgeous weekend. I hope that you do the things that make you feel happy, that like make you feel fulfilled. I hope that you are in your calling. I hope that you aren't in any danger. I hope that your heart and mine are aligned when we try and find our own ways to make this world a better place, I guess. And maybe that's why I say what I say, which is like, the same thing I kind of just said, but in a different way, which is take care of yourselves and one another, stand up for what you believe, and make art. 'Cause definitely he stood up for what he believed, you know. All right, my loves. I'll see you later. Bye.